Oh look, a manufacturing methods textbook. Let's see what it says about the methods of manufacturing of Middle Earth. This chapter speaks of casting. Casting is the pouring of molten metal into a mold cavity in order to shape it. When solidified, the molten metal takes the shape of the cavity. Casting can be used to create very intricate shapes and designs. There are many factors to account for when casting with metals. These include such things as choice of alloys, solidification rate, structure property relationships, fluidity of the molten metal, surface tension, mold design, rate of pouring, heat transfer, shrinkage, defects, and porosity. There are two types of casting: permanent mold casting and expendable mold casting. Expendable mold casting processes include sand casting, shell molding, plaster molding, ceramic molding, lost foam casting, and investment casting. These are called expendable because the mold cannot be reused. Examples of permanent mold casting include vacuum casting, slush casting, pressure casting, die casting, centrifugal casting, and squeeze casting. In permanent mold casting, the mold can be reused many times.
This is an example of a casting process. When the molten metal is poured into the mold, the metal fills up the mold cavity as well as the riser that will later be used to fill in any gaps as the metal cools. Sir Balrog is chasing Gandalf and company because he disagrees with his preference for metal casting. Gandalf decides to stand up for the superiority of forging in weapon making.
Grrr!
Forging is superior for weapon making!
The dark fire will not avail you!
Grrr!
Told you so.
Grrr!
You shall not!
Cast. Maybe next time you'll forge your weapons. May I please have your attention? Gandalf has found some important information for your consideration.
Forging is the basic process in which the workpiece is shaped by compressive forces applied through various dies and tooling. It is one of the oldest metalworking operations. It was first done by hammering metal into shape with tools made of stone. It was used to make jewelry as well as armor and weapons. It is now used to make parts for large machines as well as small things like hand tools. There are many different methods of forging, each with its own use. Open die casting is the simplest, but it is limited to simple shapes. Closed die forging yields good dimensional accuracy, but has high die cost. Conventional forging has very high production rates, but the dies are also expensive to manufacture. Precision forging has close dimensional tolerances, and machining is generally not necessary, but the process uses high forging forces and intricate dies.
Forging begins by pouring molten metal into a mold. Quenching is used after forging a part to increase the toughness. During the process, impurities in the form of slag can be removed by skimming the top of the molten metal. This is an example of impact forging. Some workpieces may require machining to meet the required tolerances. Once machining is completed, the workpiece can undergo certain processes to improve aesthetics if desired. This specific workpiece had a design etched into the blade using a laser etching process.
But the power of the ring could not be undone.
No, Father! Why didn't you heat treat your armor to improve its hardness?